So the faith that we talk about is the faith in your true nature. The faith that we say the Buddha's enlightenment was he realized that he was already complete. And it wasn't just him or himself that was already complete, but everyone and everything in its own nature is already complete. And it's faith in that that's the deep faith that we have in Buddhist practice. Sometimes also we say this faith is just the faith that there is authenticity. There is this true self, even when we can't find it. To believe in our true self is the great faith of Buddhism. My true self and your true self and your true self and your true self on the outside looks quite different. But in the absolute sense of the whole world as a single flower, it's all the same. It's all the same true self. A Christian might call that God. Anybody from a God-based religion might call that God. Buddhism doesn't deal with God very much. It just talks about the Tao, if you take it from a Chinese name, or Buddha nature. The name isn't important. That's why Chris talked about everybody hitting the floor. This hitting the floor points to that which cannot be spoken. If you name it, you reduce it to a thing. If you can't name it, it's open and big. I often say this, and almost anybody who's done a first interview with me has heard this phrase, but in the Jewish religion, you can't say the name of God. Because if you say the name of God, you've made it into something smaller than it is. And that points to the faith that I'm talking about. If you reduce it to a thing, you've already lost it. Because you've narrowed it and you've made it into an object and a concept. And it's not an object and a concept. Just as each one of us is not an object and a concept. We reduce ourselves to an object and a concept for comfort, but that's not who we are. So if we're not an object and we're not a concept, who are we? There's one more step. In a sense, just this body hitting this floor is an expression of this particularity in this very moment. For all of you, just hearing it touches into your true self. But if you say, oh, I'm hearing, you've lost it. But hearing touches it. Smelling touches it. Tasting touches it. We're touched all the time. But in a sense, we're blind and we can't see what we're already touched by. We already are it.